now he's better. He's like all of us, except his bed is wetter.
It's called the Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny. You know, Brian Hyland. Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini.
Do you remember when radio was full of surprises? Back in the 60s, anything could become a hit.
They did the Monster Mash. It was could have done something, but you didn't.
Dominique, as I sing this little song, and when I sing the chorus, all the
You never knew what strange, silly, or downright bizarre song might come crackling through your transistor radio next. Some of the biggest chart toppers weren't serious ballads or rock anthems.
Off of trees.
We're proud of this boy. And here he is, Ray Stevens.
He brought that camel to a screeching halt in the rear of Fatima's tent.
They were novelty songs, joke songs, tunes that made absolutely no sense, but somehow captured the world's imagination. Today, we're counting down 10 joke songs from the 60s that became global hits. Hello Muda, Hello Fata, Alan Sherman, 1963. Picture this. It's the summer of 1963, and a comedian named Alan Sherman releases a song written in the voice of a miserable kid at summer camp.
And the food this year's improving. All the little...
The melody borrowed from a classical ballet by Ponchielli. The result was a number 2 hit that couldn't be stopped.
And tiptoe through the tulips, grand to leave with...
Sherman based the song on actual letters his son Robert sent home from Camp Champlain in upstate New York.
Makes you slimmer. Her name's Mrs. Pellegrini.
The complaints were real. The homesickness was real. Sherman just amplified everything to absurd proportions.
Night, the campfire is so keen. Oh my, please send some.
In the song, the camper describes one disaster after another. Fellow campers are going missing, getting food poisoning, encountering bears.
Hope they'll teach him how to blow his nose here.
The weather is terrible, the counselors are useless, and he's begging to come home.
Nature's land and tiptoe through the tulips.
Then in the final verse, the sun comes out and suddenly camp is wonderful.
And the food this year's improving.
Never mind that letter, Mom and Dad. The song hit number 2 on the Billboard chart in late August 1963, blocked from the top spot only by Stevie Wonder and then the Angels.
Quite a swimmer, she says swimming makes you
The timing was perfect, right when millions of American kids were heading off to summer camp themselves.
He plays ball here, and he rows here.
Sherman won a Grammy for the recording. The song became so embedded in American culture that it was selected by the Library of Congress in 2019 for preservation in the National Recording Registry.
The words.
An honor usually reserved for serious musical achievements, Sherman became the king of song parody, paving the way for artists like Weird Al Yankovic decades later. But he never quite matched the success of that summer camp letter. Itsy Bitsy Teeny, Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, Brian Hyland, 1960. In the summer of 1960, a 16-year-old from Queens changed the music landscape with a song about swimwear.
We'll tell you more.
Brian Hyland recorded a tune about a shy girl too embarrassed to be seen in her new bikini.
Now she's afraid to come out of the water. And
the title alone took up half the radio airtime. Songwriter Paul Vance got the idea watching his 2-year-old daughter at the beach. She was wearing a tiny bikini and kept hiding behind her mother, too shy to come out.
And I wonder what she's gonna do.
Within hours of seeing that, he and his partner Lee Pockris had written the entire song. It became a massive hit, proving that a simple, catchy story could dominate the airwaves. They're coming to take me away, ha ha! Napoleon the 14th, 1966. In 1966, a recording engineer named Jerry Samuels created what might be the strangest #1 hit in history.
Fish-loving deeds. Ha! Well, you just wait. They'll find.
There's no melody, no harmony, not a single musical note, just a relentless snare drum pattern, a voice getting faster and more manic, and a police siren.
But now you know I'm utterly mad. And
the narrator seems to be having a breakdown over a lost love. He's excited that men in white coats are coming to take him to the funny farm.
Selfish-loving deeds. Ha! Well, you just wait. They'll find.
His mental state deteriorates with each verse as the tempo increases and his voice speeds up.
No, you laughed. I heard you laugh. You laughed, and then you...
Samuels recorded it under the name Napoleon the 14th. He actually worked at the recording studio, so he made the track during off hours.
Weavers who sit and smile and twiddle their thumbs and toes and their cutters to take me away.
To create that unsettling vocal effect, he used a variable frequency oscillator to gradually speed up his voice as the song progressed.
Their thumbs and toes and their cutters to take me away.
He worried the song would offend people struggling with mental illness, so he added a twist in the final verse.
I cooked your food, I cleaned your house, and this is how you...
The whole time he's not talking to a woman, he's talking to his runaway dogs.
Right? You know you laughed. I heard you laugh. You laughed.
That detail made it just satirical enough to avoid being completely tasteless. The song exploded.
They'll put you in the ASPCA, you mangy mutt.
It hit #3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and #1 on Cashbox chart in August 1966.
I cooked your food, I cleaned.
In the UK, it reached #4. Sales topped 1 million copies almost immediately.
Deeds. Ha! Well, you just wait. They'll find you yet.
Radio stations loved it because it was so different from everything else. But some found it too disturbing and pulled it from rotation after just a few weeks.
The ASPCA, you mangy mutt. And
the song's chart run was unusually brief because of this controversy. Samuels released a follow-up in 1988 called They're Coming to Get Me Again, ha ha, but it never charted.
Coming to take me away, ho ho hee hee, ha ha, to the happy home with trees.
That original recording remains one of the most bizarre commercial successes in pop music history. Here's something that hurts. Only 1% of viewers on Music Express FM are subscribed. 99 out of 100 come for the ride, feeling the energy, discovering songs that hit right in the chest, yet you haven't joined us. Why walk away when the engine is running? Subscribing costs absolutely nothing, but it guarantees you'll always catch the next great track before anyone else. This isn't just a playlist, it's a movement. Don't listen from the sidelines. Be the 1% that fuels the music. Hit subscribe and stay on board. Monster Mash. Bobby Boris Pickett. 1962, October 1962. Halloween was approaching and a struggling actor named Bobby Pickett had an idea.
And it's a graveyard smash.
He'd been doing impressions of Boris Karloff in his nightclub act. What if he turned that into a song?
The guests included Wolfman.
They recorded it with producer Gary Paxton at a small studio. The budget was tiny, so they got creative with sound effects.
Just one thing, opened the lid and shook his...
The coffin opening was a rusty nail pulled from a board. The bubbling cauldron was water bubbled through a straw.
Monster Mash, the zombies were having fun.
Rattling chains were just chains dropped on a tile floor. Every major record label turned it down.
Just one thing, opened the lid and shook his fist.
They thought it was ridiculous, but Paxton believed in it and released it on his own small label.
Just one thing, opened the lid and shook his fist.
Within weeks, it was everywhere. On October 20th, 1962, Monster Mash hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
The party had just begun. The guests in...
It stayed there for 2 weeks, right before Halloween. The BBC banned it for being too morbid, which only made it more popular everywhere else.
Twist. It's now the Monster Mash.
The song sold over 1 million copies, but here's the remarkable part. It kept coming back.
The band and my Monster Mash is the hit of the land.
It charted again in 1970, reaching number 91. Then in 1973, it climbed all the way back to number 10.
Land for you, the living, this mash was meant to. And you...
The song has returned to the charts multiple times since then. As of 2023, Monster Mash was still generating $1 million annually in royalties. Not bad for a joke song recorded in an afternoon. Winchester Cathedral, the new vaudeville band, 1966. The year was 1966, and British songwriter Jeff Stevens was tired of modern pop music.
Not everyone knows just how much I need.
He decided to write something that sounded like it belonged in the 1920s music hall era.
You let her walk by.
The result was a song about heartbreak sung through a megaphone with a jaunty brass band backing.
I needed that girl.
Winchester Cathedral was deliberately old-fashioned. The narrator addresses the famous English cathedral as if it were a therapist, complaining that his girl has left him standing alone.
Ring in your bell. Winchester.
The vocal effect came from singing through a cheap megaphone, giving it that tinny vintage sound.
You watch that. My baby left town.
Stevens recorded it with session musicians and put it out under the name The New Vaudeville Band, even though no such band actually existed yet.
You're bringing me down.
The lead vocal was sung by John Carter, but Stevens kept it for the commercial release when he realized it sounded perfect. The song became a massive hit in America. It reached -- in December of 1966, actually knocking the Supremes off the top spot.
But you didn't try.
After being bumped by the Beach Boys' Good Vibrations for 1 week, it climbed back to #1 for 2 more weeks.
But you didn't try.
The band was managed by Peter Grant, who would later become famous as Led Zeppelin's manager. The new vaudeville band had a few more minor hits, but Winchester Cathedral remained their defining moment.
Not everyone knows just how much.
50 years later, a new version was recorded by the actual Winchester Cathedral Choir to celebrate the anniversary. That old joke song had become a beloved classic. Dominique, the Singing Nun, 1963. America was still reeling from President Kennedy's assassination just weeks earlier.
Go came a better world I know, and his love shall always be.
The nation needed comfort, something pure and simple. And that's exactly what they got from the most unlikely source imaginable.
Mika, it was good St. Dominique, he lived for you.
Sister Luke Gabrielle was a 30-year-old Belgian nun who enjoyed playing guitar and writing songs at her convent.
Long ago came a better world I know, and his love shall always.
Her fellow sisters loved her music and suggested she record an album. So in 1963, she made a collection of simple religious folk songs. all in French.
My reward, Dominica, Nica, Nica, I will follow Dom.
On December 7th, 1963, Dominique hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
I sing, will some simple pleasure bring, all the world shall know his.
It stayed there for 4 weeks straight, becoming a unique moment in American chart history.
His words shall be my prayer. By the kindness of his.
Hollywood made a movie about her life starring Debbie Reynolds in 1966, but Sister Luke Gabrielle's story didn't have a happy ending.
Dominique, he lived for you and me.
She left the convent, struggled with taxes on her royalties that had gone to the church, and tragically took her own life in 1985.
Though I'm poor, said Dominique, as he spoke unto the Lord, I will be.
But in that moment, in late 1963, Dominique was exactly what the world needed to hear. Surfing Bird, the Trashmen. 1963. Late 1963, a garage band from Minneapolis called the Trashmen were playing a gig when their drummer Steve Warrer did something spontaneous. He mashed together 2 R&B songs by the Rivingtons into one wild, chaotic performance. The result was Surfin' Bird, a song that made absolutely no sense. It combined the choruses from Papa Mau Mau and the Bird's the Word into a frenetic surf rock explosion. The only real lyrics were the repeated phrases describing the bird. A local DJ named Bill Deal was at that show and immediately saw potential. He convinced the band to record it at a small Minneapolis studio. They cut the track and Deal entered it in a local battle of the bands, which it won. Then it won a Chicago competition. Before long, major labels were interested. Released in November 1963, the song was an instant sensation. It reportedly sold 30,000 copies in the Twin Cities alone during the first weekend. By January 1964, it had peaked at #4 on the Billboard Hot 100. The Rivingtons, who wrote the original songs, threatened to sue for plagiarism. The credits were changed to include them, and they began receiving royalties. This turned out to be a financial windfall, as the song has been used in countless movies, TV shows, and commercials over the decades. The song became a garage rock classic, influencing punk bands in the 1970s. The Ramones covered it. The Cramps covered it. In 2008, it gained a whole new generation of fans when it was featured prominently in an episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin becomes obsessed with it. The Trashmen never had another major hit. They disbanded in 1967, but Surfin' Bird lives on as one of the most gleefully nonsensical rock songs ever recorded. The Purple People Eater, Sheb Wooley, 1958. Even though it was technically released in 1958, the Purple People Eater's influence extended well into the 1960s and deserves mention as one of the most successful novelty songs of the era. Written and performed by country singer and actor Sheb Wooley, this bizarre tale of a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple creature became a cultural phenomenon.
people eater, what's your line? He said he...
Woolley got the idea from a friend's child who had combined the phrases purple people and man eater. The song told the story of a strange creature that came to Earth, but the punchline was that it ate purple people, not that it was a purple creature that ate people. The recording featured Woolley's regular voice alternating with a sped-up voice for the alien, similar to the technique David Seville used for the Chipmunks. The creature wanted to come to Earth to join a rock and roll band, making it a perfect novelty song for the emerging rock era. Released in June 1958, it shot to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for 6 weeks.
Job in a rock and roll band.
That's longer than most serious songs of the era managed. It sold over 3 million copies and became one of the biggest hits of 1958. The song's influence lasted throughout the 1960s. In 1966, there was even a movie based on it, starring Shelley Winters.
What a sight to see. And then he swung from the tree and he lit on.
Children's books, toys, and merchandise followed. The song became a staple at parties and on children's records throughout the decade.
And then he swung from the tree and he lit on the ground and he started to rock.
Woolley himself was a successful character actor, appearing in dozens of Western films and TV shows.
Friendly little people eater, what a sight to see. And then he swung.
He later had another novelty hit in 1962 with That's My Pa, but nothing matched his Purple People Eater. Alley Oop, the Hollywood Argyles, 1960. In 1960, a novelty song about a caveman became an unlikely chart topper.
He's the king of the jungle jive.
Alley Oop was based on the popular comic strip character created by V.T.
The cats don't bug him 'cause they know
Hamlin in 1932. The song imagined this prehistoric strongman as a rock and roll hero.
King of the jungle jive. Look at that caveman.
Songwriter and producer Kim Fowley wrote it with Gary Paxton, the same Gary Paxton who would later produce Monster Mash.
He's the toughest man there is.
They created the Hollywood Argyles specifically for this recording, assembling session musicians to cut the track.
Like great big lions and grizzly bears.
The song had that classic early 60s sound, hand claps, group vocals, and a driving beat.
Wearing clothes from a wildcat's hide. He's the king.
The lead vocal described Alley Oop riding his dinosaur, swinging his club, and being the toughest man in history.
Wears clothes from a wildcat's hide.
There was even a female backing vocal group providing responses. Released in May 1960, it climbed rapidly up the charts. By July, Alley Oop had reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, where it stayed for 1 week. It also hit number 1 on the R&B charts, showing its crossover appeal. The success created a problem.
Wearing clothes from a wildcat's hide.
The Hollywood Argyles didn't actually exist as a real band, just a studio creation.
You count too far wide.
When demand for live performances came in, they had to quickly assemble different lineups of musicians to tour under the name.
The toughest man there.
Several groups claiming to be the Hollywood Argyles toured simultaneously, each with different members.
He's the king of the jungle jive.
It became a confusing situation that eventually led to lawsuits and disputes over who had the right to use the name.
The cats don't bug him 'cause they know better.
The comic strip's popularity, combined with the catchy song, created a brief alley-oop craze in 1960.
Dinosaur.
But like most novelty hits, it was short-lived. The Hollywood Argylls had one more minor chart entry, but never recaptured that initial success. Ahab the Arab, Ray Stevens, 1962. Before he became known for the streak in the 1970s, Ray Stevens was already a novelty song veteran.
Hey, I walk up to her and he'd say, hey!
In 1962, he released Ahab the Arab, a comedic tale about a sheik and his camel named Clyde.
Boy, here he is, Ray Stevens.
Stevens wrote and performed the song, which told the story of Ahab, described as the sheik of the burning sands.
He went, there he saw Fatima.
With his trusty camel Clyde, Ahab pursued the fairest girl in the land. The song was full of sound effects, including Clyde's distinctive snort and various Arabian-themed musical flourishes.
Still night, desert air, and he say.
What made the song work was Stevens' commitment to the bit. He created distinct voices for the characters and threw in unexpected sound effects at just the right moments.
Which is camel for okay.
The production was rich with details, from the camel's reactions to the exotic music bed.
Bananas, 3 Hershey bars, ROC, Coca-Cola, moon pie.
Released in September of 1962, Ahab the Arab climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Which is Aramaic for stop, Clyde, and Clyde say.
It spent several months on the charts and sold over 1 million copies. Stevens also released an album of the same name to capitalize on the single's success.
Which is Aramaic for let's twist again like we did last.
The song made Stevens a household name, though some critics found the stereotypical portrayal problematic even at the time.
It's all rolled into one. We're proud of this boy. And here he is, Ray Stevens.
Regardless, audiences loved it. Stevens followed up with similar novelty songs throughout the 1960s, including Harry the Hairy Ape and Speedball.
To a screeching halt in the rear of Fatima's tent.
He proved that novelty songs could be sophisticated in their production while still being silly in their content.
On the TV, read the Mad magazine, watch the song, does your chewing gum lose?
Stevens had a gift for comedy music that would serve him well throughout his long career.
Laying on a zebra skin rug, with rings on her fingers and
By the time the 1970s rolled around, Stevens had perfected his craft. The Streak became his biggest hit, but fans from the 60s remembered Ahab and his camel Clyde as the song that started it all.